Cheers.
Hey guys, Lindsay here. I have taken over Mark's kitchen. I'm going to show you my absolute all-time favorite sauce recipe. So I've said lots of times that when you go primal or you go keto, one of the ways that you keep your food interesting is that you keep lots of sauces on hand. And there are two that I almost always have in my fridge. One is pesto, and the other is the one I'm going to show you today, which is chimichurri. And the reason I like both of them is because you get to incorporate fresh herbs. You can use them on vegetables. You can use them on any kind of meat. You can use them on fish. You can put them on shellfish like shrimp. You can add them to a stir fry. You can put them on your omelets. Like, they are literally anything you want to do. You can do them with either pesto or chimichurri. So the other secret about the way I cook is that I never measure anything. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's a little bit thrown together, but this is a pretty traditional chimichurri recipe. I'm going to go ahead and make a double batch because, again, I always go big. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with parsley. Now, you can take the time to individually pull all these leaves off. I just shot myself in the face with water. Or you can just do what I do, which is just chop most of the stem off. Any kind of big piece of stem you want to get rid of. But otherwise, a little stem never killed you. So you want probably like a good handful of parsley leaves into a blender or a food processor. You can do this with an immersion blender as well if you have a big jar. So that's about half a cup if I were to press it down. To that, I'm going to add about a quarter cup of, this is fresh oregano. It smells amazing. This I am gonna pull off the stems a little bit better because the stems are a little bit tougher when it comes to oregano. You can also use dried oregano, that's no problem. You just don't want to use quite as much. So if I'm using, a quarter cup of fresh oregano leaves, I'd probably use about half that, maybe even a little bit less when it comes to dried oregano, because I find dried oregano to be much stronger. So we're gonna, again, eyeballing it. That looks about good. We can always add more later if we feel like it. And then, depending on what you're gonna use it for, you can decide how much garlic. I'm gonna put in about 4 cloves of garlic to start. Just toss those in. Now, before I do anything else, I'm just gonna give this a rough chop just to kind of get it started. And then we're gonna open it up and we're gonna add some more ingredients. So we're gonna pulse this a few times. All right, so that's kind of roughly chopped. The garlic is getting chopped, and I'm just gonna push it down towards the bottom. So we're gonna get all this later. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. And then the only ingredient I really do measure, and that's the vinegar. And the reason I measure the vinegar is because I have put in too much vinegar into my chimichurri, and it's really not that pleasant an experience. So for this double batch, I'm gonna use about 1/3 of a cup per half cup of fresh parsley. I'm gonna use apple cider vinegar today. Red wine vinegar is more traditional. I just happen to have ACV today. I also really like it with coconut vinegar, so that's another option. Coconut vinegar is actually pretty mild, I find. So about 1/3 a cup of apple cider vinegar. Then if you want it spicy, you can add a little crushed red pepper. I'm gonna just do a little bit. So I'm gonna be using this as a marinade, so I don't want it overly spicy right now because of how I'm gonna use it, but if you like really spicy food, this is a great way to get some spicy sauce in. Then I'm gonna use the extra virgin avocado oil from Primal Kitchen, and I'm just gonna put in a few tablespoons to get started. Again, give my food processor a little scrape, get all the herbs down in the oil, and then I'm just gonna run it. And as it's running, as it starts to become incorporated, I'm going to stream in more olive oil to let it emulsify, or avocado oil to let it emulsify. And then as I watch it, I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it and decide how much I want to get the consistency I like. So we're gonna get going. All right, and I'm just gonna stream in a little bit more, splashing me. Okay, and so this looks really good. So this one, because I'm using it as a marinade, I let it be a little bit thinner. Sometimes if I'm gonna use it as a topping for a steak, I'll actually add in more herbs to oil, so I'll change the ratios a little bit, but this is gonna be perfect for marinating, if you wanted to drizzle it over vegetables, if you want to toss vegetables in it after they're roasting. So this is a very traditional chimichurri that should be a kitchen staple for anyone who's looking to get more healthy fats in their diet.